Now, this next story is the kind of story I like to share. It shows the goodness of the human heart and how, your sort of experience with one person could change so many different things. Now, you may have seen the online video from a young student out of the United States who, I guess, had apprehensions of coming to the Bahamas, but somehow he got here. And even then, he wasn't completely embracing the feeling, but it took one person to change his entire concept and perception of what the Bahamas is, and really what life is, I would dare say. Now, my special guests are Mr. Henry Dummett, who is that man who made everything change for this young man, who is at Island Escape Tours, and the proprietor of Island Escape Tours, Sonia Boadley. Now, I'm going to start with you, Sonia.
Yes.
And both of you, welcome to the show. I'm going to start with you because
Thank you.
you must be exceptionally proud of Mr. Dummett.
Very much so. And he can tell you, I express that all the time.
So what he did is nothing unusual for you.
Not out of the ordinary. That is Henry on a daily basis. Anytime he has contact with any client we have, any repeat client we have, they always request that Henry will drive them. So he's just extraordinary when it comes to taking care of the client.
Wow. Well, Mr. Dummett, please tell us what happened. I mean, we heard bits and pieces of it online. Actually, he went into quite a bit of depth about it. But when you first met him, when you picked him up at the airport, what happened?
It was an ordinary day. He came in. We spoke. I asked him where was he from, and a small conversation to break the ice, and then I just went from there.
Now, this is a journey from the airport to Paradise Island.
Island, yeah. They were assigned to the various buses. Him and his brothers, they were assigned to my bus, to my van, and we just took off, A little apprehensive, so I had to ask questions again. And it's through asking questions that we just connected, we bond. There was the bonding.
Now, how did you know that? Because, sometimes you might have a client who like, don't ask me nothing. But how did you feel that talking to him would bring him out?
Well,
or open his shell, if you will.
He began to get lighthearted, the uneasy, and the uneasiness that he had when he first came in, that just started to melt away.
Wow.
And then we just started to talk. In fact, he rode up front with me.
So he was he showed a completely different demeanor by the time you got to the hotel.
Yeah.
And you're just doing what? Just telling him about the Bahamas?
We were just talking about the Bahamas. He'd ask certain questions, the general questions about the Bahamas. He knew that he was in a warm tropical place, and I gave him information, let him know that when he's in the Bahamas, he is not in the Caribbean, as is the popular belief, but he's still in the Atlantic Ocean, the western Atlantic Ocean. And I told him where the Caribbean was. It's south of us, and what makes the islands in the Caribbean, Atlantic islands, and the islands in the Caribbean islands. And he was like, he never knew it. The whole bus was like, wow, we never knew that was the fact of it. I said, yeah. The islands down in the Caribbean, they all rest on the tectonic plates. So they all have mountains and rivers. The Bahamas and the other Atlantic islands are not on those plates.
True.
So the islands in the Bahamas and the Caribbean, and the Atlantic are all flat and hilly. And that is what actually opened up the entire realm of our friendship.
So you were assigned to him. You had this group for the entire trip, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Entire trip.
How large a group was it?
Well, there were like over 1,300 students.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes.
Boy.
Yeah. Because this is their spring break, and the company is called Grad City, and so we provide the transportation for the company. We've been working with them since back in the 80s.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Way back.
Yeah, and for us, it doesn't matter that, they're students, they are still our clients.
Exactly.
And to just show you, they finish high school, they go into college, they get married, and they decide they want to come on a vacation, and we get a phone call. We get a lot of them who actually call us
Repeat.
to do transportation when they've all grown up and have their families. So it's a good thing.
It sure is. But now getting back to you, and the gentleman's name is Yetmir?
Yetmir.
Okay, great. So, all right, day 2, how long were they here for? How many days?
5.
5.
5, okay. And you assigned to them every day for those 5 days?
In the company?
Yeah, you were with them every day for those 5 days?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, okay,
No,
great.
just coming in. Now, I would have seen him when we go back to transport the persons who would arrive afterwards or who were leaving from the previous trips.
But the information you gave him had him kind of enthralled. He wanted to seek
Oh, yeah.
more information about the
Tell them
Bahamas.
about the bananas.
When we came in, we were in conversation
Wow.
because I stopped along the way, and I showed them a variety of Bahamian fruit trees and explained to them the fruits and tried to give them an idea of what it would have tasted like. And I also showed him and the entire bus a banana tree. They'd never seen a banana tree.
I can imagine that. Yeah,
So when I showed them banana tree, that one wasn't in fruit. So along the route, I saw a tree that was in fruit. So I asked them to bear me a few seconds, and I pulled off the road into the parking lot, and I asked them to follow me for a few seconds. And out of the bus, we went to the banana tree, and they were amazed. They couldn't believe it.
And really, this is the kind of experience, because it gets on my nerves sometimes, because, we have all of these American products here and all that. But they're not coming to see America. They're coming to see the Bahamas.
Right.
And they want as authentic an experience as they could get.
And
Yes.
guess why? Because we now expose so much to social media. A lot of these tourists, when they come, they know what they're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they want the true and real Bahamian experience.
And because there's sometimes some things online aren't true. So it's good to have somebody to actually clarify it for them. Great. So by the time now by the end of the 5th day, you guys are just bosom buddies by then, huh?
We communicated.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, his number's in my phone. With the very first contact we had.
Isn't it? I mean, obviously you've been changed by knowing him too.
Most
How?
definitely.
How?
Because this is humbling. Because I never expected nothing like this. Totally, I'm surprised.
It
So-
shows
so was he.
how grateful he was to
Yes.
actually post it. But now
The video is powerful.
something else happened, right? And I was kind of shocked this morning when I was hearing about what happened. How did this mix-up occur? Do you have any idea how it occurred?
Well, we were just going on first name basis.
Okay.
He would
That's
call
fair
me
enough.
Henry, or my brother, or my friend. That's how we communicated.
Right.
Until this unforeseen circumstance came up.
Right. But, I don't know. I mean, it's one name, so you can get confused. But I think you either know if you met the man or you didn't, right?
Oh, most definitely.
So I don't think there's any excuse for that.
Yeah, so
But how did it make you feel, though, when... I mean, not that obviously you didn't do this for any glorification or anything like that. But how did it make you feel when somebody else was really assuming to be you?
well, I laughed at it. I know I should have taken umbrage, but I laughed. I told him. He also...
Do you know the guy?
No, I told Yetmir.
Okay.
When I told Yetmir, he also laughed and he asked me he wanted to see the clippings. So I gave him the
From Eyewitness.
My Witness News, yes. I gave him the details of how to download it, and he did that. And then when he saw it, he was livid. And then I found out that same afternoon that ZNS also ran a story on it. And I told him. again, he was livid.
You know, right there, that's the lesson, ensuring that you get the facts right.
Yes.
And not be so quick just to put it up online.
And
But I wouldn't.
we spoke.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I asked him, I said, I've got to clarify this now because people are saying that this imposter, you know, is taking my thunder, stealing my glory. So he says, Henry, do not worry because the entire school community is behind you. I will send you photographs that we took at the airport before we left.
And actually, we have some photos of you and him, and if you got some more, please send it to us. But viewers should be able to see that on their screens right now. That it's you, and not this other Henry.
Yeah.
He was taken aback by the dishonesty of the individual.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to bear on him too much, but he should be at least reprimanded, I think, for that.
Well, the thing about it is, he did say taxi. He took a taxi to the hotel. So that was the misleading part, okay? And so therefore, the taxi union was contacted, okay? And a person was identified. But I believe if he had said Island Escape Tours.
But the problem is the taxi union didn't know which Henry it was. So,
right.
But still, why would you conduct an interview with somebody if you know it isn't you are? Anyway, but anyway, listen. But really, what I'm happy to have you on the show for is because I think you've renewed the faith of many in the Bahamian spirit. Because this, what you've exemplified, is what we really are. We're good people who really love people to know the truth about our country, and you did that all in one go.
Yeah.
And just a natural, you're just being who you are, just a natural instinct. Because I'm sure people are saying, you know, I know more people are still doing Bahama Host. All of your drivers and staff have been through Bahama Host?
They have to.
They have to.
Every 3 years. Every 3 years.
Oh,
in order to get your public service license renewed, you have to take Bahama Host. Now, for Bahama Host, that doesn't teach attitude.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
And that's the key.
It doesn't.
That's the key
It doesn't.
in dealing with the tourists.
Now, how are we going to, I mean, we are of a certain age, but how are we going to instill these kinds of qualities in younger people? Because, yeah, they're very gifted in certain areas, but we see really stink attitudes, there's no other way to put it, and just really inferior customer service in so many areas of the country right now. You know, perhaps you need to give them a little course.
Well, it's only what God put inside you can come out.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think this meeting was God ordained?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know. And it was for a moment and a time such as this. You know.
I think the most touching part of it for me was when Yetmir said, oh, I got a friend in the Bahamas now, and I believe he quoted you as saying, friend? You ain't got a friend, you got family.
You got family.
Yes.
You got family.
So someone who didn't want to come to the Bahamas might now come many, many times in the future.
He will be coming back. Yeah. We communicate every day.
Wow, wow.
Every day.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. That's really, really good. Share some more about I mean, how many more Henrys do you have working with you?
I wish I had.
He's one of a kind, eh?
Oh, yeah. I wish I had. You know, just to tell you, it's just not about the tourists. You know, Henry's community-minded, okay? At my church, I did youth group, CYM, Christian Youth Movement, and we had a young man who lived Cowpen Road who really wanted to be a part. And every Friday night, Henry came and took him home. He didn't have to do that.
No.
You know, so it's just not about the tourist.
Oh, well,
It's about caring for anybody.
Well, you got to treat yourselves, your own people, well, as first, really.
Right.
Before you treat anybody else good.
Yeah, he went with our men, caroling. And, you know, they were so happy about it because he was caroling right along as if he was a part of the group.
So you're much more than a tour company.
Yes. Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit more about you, Henry the man. Because you're like, man of the, at least man of the week, if not man of the year.
Wow. Nothing much to say. I mean, I stay to myself. Don't talk much.
But you talked enough to get yet mirror going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, I love what I do. I love it.
What
I have been in this field for the past 32 years.
Wow. You're a professional.
32 years.
And I believe if you don't do what you love, you don't do well.
I've seen the changes.
So where all did you take him? I am sure you showed him the good, the bad, and the ugly.
From
If you have a real experience.
Yeah, we went. We took the route along Farrington Road. We went in the areas of Boys Subdivision.
Which, interestingly enough, now I see tourists
Yes.
walking all over the place
All
by
over.
themselves in all these places
That's
anyway now.
Airbnb.
It's amazing
Airbnb.
how the product has changed.
So along those routes, I would show various trees, but a banana tree, avocado tree, mango trees, the soursop or sugar apple trees. Yeah.
Of course, you had to take it to get
Pockets
some
of-
conch salad and stuff like
Pockets of
that.
cane, but we didn't do that.
You didn't do conch salad?
No, but what I did along the route, we then got into a discussion of Bahamian food, the cuisine. And I was telling them about the Bahamian food. And I began to describe what it tastes like, and I told them you've got to try the peas and rice. That's the national dish.
Oh, yeah.
And they, well, Henry, what is it? And I told them, I said, what we do, we fry a brown pork skin, and then we add the herbs, onions, sweet pepper, celery, and tomatoes. And when that's brown, we add thyme, and then we add the legume of choice. Most times it's pigeon peas, or it can be lima beans, kidney beans, any of the legumes that you like. And once that's done, we add the rice, and then we let it simmer. And after it would be cooked, after it's cooked, that is by itself a meal. And I explain the macaroni and what it's eaten with, poultry, pork, or beef.
Now, you said Yedmir goes to a school called the Celestian?
The Celestian High School.
Celestian. Where is that in the United States?
That's in New York.
Oh, New York State?
That's in New York.
Okay,
Now the
great.
exact location, I do not know.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to be looking forward to you going to New York at some point soon to try and give you a New York experience.
He has already offered to drive me around when I decide to visit New York.
Ah, that's great.
Yes.
That's great. Now, we're running out of time, but I want to ask, I'm going to ask you first, Sonia. What are your overall feelings about this, and what would you say to Bahamian people based on the simple action that Henry took that has such depth in someone's life?
Well, for me, Bahamians really have to take our tourism industry seriously. Without the tourists coming here, our economy won't be the way it is. It trickles down to so many persons. And the key is knowing how to treat the tourists once they're here on our island, going out of your way to make sure that they have this wonderful experience. We sell our country by saying we're a friendly people. And so that is what the tourist is expecting when they come to our island, this friendly person. And generally speaking, I think we do hit the mark with being friendly, not bringing it up. But if you realize during COVID and the country was closed, the effect the economy had. So that alone should have people.
Have a real change of attitude.
Yes, and to really, want to be a part of this experience that the tourists come to our country for.
And some final words from you, Henry, on this whole thing, which I guess you must be kind of overwhelmed, really, because you never You just were doing your job. You just never
I
expected
was
to
doing
be
my
this.
job. I was doing what I love. You know, but I find in the business, persons get into it for the wrong reason, money, and that shouldn't be the main focus. You've got to love what you're doing. You've got to be honest, and you have to have integrity. You know, and you also have to respect people. You know.
And all those things will eventually lead to money anyway.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And even in a bigger way.
Yeah.
Any other final words before we close the show?
Well, I'm happy that, I mean, Henry does what he does on a daily. This isn't an exception. I mean, it's an exception because somebody else decided to bring it to light. But, people like Henry are always lost in the cracks.
You need to put that on your website, actually, that video, if you have a website.
So for me, I'm happy that someone, really experienced it and want to share it, because then no one would know what Henry does on a daily basis. And that's what's important. And he can tell you, I always say how much I appreciate him because of the comments that come back with the way he handles a client.
Well, I'm sure you're going to actually find more people saying, hey, where's that Henry, right? Henry, where's Henry? I want Henry, But we just got to make sure they get the right Henry.
That's it.
In fact, that video he addressed the entire school body.
Oh, okay.
The entire school body.
Wow.
That video he addressed them. And he said, when he sent it, and he said again this morning, that the entire school body is behind me. Wow. They're not letting rest.
You should be really proud of yourself.
Yeah. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. I never expected it.
That's great. Sonia Boadley, CEO of Island Escape Tours, and the star man, Henry Dummett Jr., right?
Yes, sir.
Henry Robert Dummett Jr., was it? I thought I got that right when we spoke this morning. Thank you both for being on the show, and I hope that people will follow your example, because it's easy to do this, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
And the rewards are just really plentiful, aren't they?
Yes.
Good. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank
my
you for
pleasure.
having us.
Well, that ends our program. Join us next time on Reid Between the Lines.